Is that all you got?
What's good in the hood, everybody out there on YouTube? This is your man Shattuck Stick dropping some hot frog on this mic. Today we're going to be talking about Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, more specifically the hero. Now before we start, I want to say we got some new merch designs in the or a new merch design in the merch shop on Teespring. Make sure you check it out in the description. It's a hot frog shirt in the style of the Supreme logo or whatever. Thought it was a funny meme to have there, and I'll be bringing more designs soon. So again, make sure you buy some merch. Oh man, I sound like a Logan or Jake Paul. But taking a break from the hatred from the entirety of the Pokemon, or at least half of them, of the Pokemon community, and the 5 people still playing Kill I Kill If, let's talk about the hero in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Recently, there's been a lot of controversy around this character that was announced earlier in June. He's a really unique character from Dragon Quest, or a set of characters from Dragon Quest, and I really like the idea of the hero in Smash Ultimate. I never thought the hero, more specifically Erdrick, was going to come to Smash. I am glad that we got this character because slowly it's moving up to be my favorite character to play in Smash Bros. Hero was released on July 30th, and this is the most unique character we've seen in Smash. Because of this, there's been a ton of controversy, so let me break down the hero. The hero at its simplest is a sword character with an MP meter. They function like an RPG character. Resource management is pivotal to this character, and on top of this, the hero's down special is a menu that lets you select between a variety of 20 different moves to use against the enemy. Now, I will say this, it's not like you can just choose which moves appear before the match, or you can choose which moves appear during the match. No, it's not like that. It's RNG, it's random. So what's the problem with the character? It seems like the character is honestly extremely fun. Well, the first issue that people have with this character is that it relies on RNG. Because of this, people feel it isn't fair that they can't predict what move the hero gets. But I don't honestly see why this is a problem, because the player who's playing the hero also can't see what move they get. And if they spam the moves, they can honestly wind up screwing themselves over, especially if they get kamikaze, or if they get hocus pocus and they get a negative debuff. It's not as black and white as people want to make it look. That's a big issue that I have with people saying this character should be removed or banned, at least from competitive play. Now, the second reason why is because the hero has a multitude of one-hit KO moves, which is understandably something to be worried about, especially in the competitive scene. Are these moves out of the norm for fighting games though? And are they really that good? No, and sorta. The first thing I gotta say, the moves are either hard to hit or punish the player extremely for missing, whether it be an exorbitant amount of in-lag or kamikaze just straight up killing the player. On top of them being hard to hit, not all of them instantly just kill the opponent upon hitting them. There's a chance that goes up based on the opponent's percentage. So just because you hit someone with that one-hit KO move doesn't necessarily mean that they're gonna die, if that makes sense. We've also seen this in other fighting games. In the Guilty Gear series, more specifically Xrd, we've seen that every character has a one-hit KO move. It's not easy to hit those moves though, and it isn't really viable. And while here it is viable in the sense that it is an option, just like in Guilty Gear it is viable because it's an option, it's not viable in terms of competitive play because it's random which one shows up, and if you do see it, more than likely it's not going to be at the top of the hero's list of moves. So what's going to wind up happening is that you're sitting there and the opponent's going to be able to move out of the way or be able to punish you because you sat there and decided that you were gonna, choose the move. Now, there are strong moves like Magic Burst, and I'm not gonna lie, it's a really strong move, and that's the only thing I think that needs to really be nerfed about the hero. But even then, that move comes up so little that I don't even think about it. And the last reason people want the hero banned is because of critical hits, which randomly add knockback and damage to the hero's smash attacks. This is understandably frustrating for many people. I don't feel strongly either way on this subject because characters like Ganon and Bowser have extremely strong attacks, especially smash attack. So just because the hero gets a random buff on their smash attack doesn't really mean anything to me, especially since there's a lot of lag on the hero's moves, and one of the hero smash attacks out of his 3 are just horrible. Cough cough, up smash. I think the whole whole situation, though, we've been looking at this wrong. We've been looking at this from the perspective of a Smash player, not the perspective of a person who plays fighting games competitive. And I think there's a double-edged sword in this, because not everything applies to every fighting game the same, but at the same time, this is one of those situations where people are saying because it does, I don't know, I think we need a little bit more perspective, especially when we look at the grander arena of fighting games, and is this normal? Smash is unique, yes, but it's still a fighting game nonetheless, and I don't think it's as big as a problem as people are making it out to be, because other fighting games have had mechanics like this in the past and currently. The people who I have coming on today are Mike and Ike 12, Cat Sora, also known as Iron Fist, and Deadly Rain X. All of them play fighting games. Mike and Ike 12 more specifically is a competitive player who is known most well for playing Street Fighter and Dragon Ball FighterZ, while Deadly Rain X is a streamer on Twitch, and Iron Fist is just a friend that I have who, while he is starting to get into content creation, hasn't quite been consistent. So your boy is giving him a chance here to create a platform and give him a platform to speak, because he is well versed in fighting games, just about all of them, at least the ones that he played, which include Super Smash Brothers, and more specifically Ultimate. I'm pretty sure he has put more time into Ultimate than I have, so there you go. So let's see how they feel. I have a list of questions here, and I will be asking how they feel, etc. I'll having follow-up questions that I'll ask each of them. Each of them will answer the same question, and hopefully you guys enjoy this. So help me down in that comment section below if you want me to have more discussion videos like this, where I guess have this interview style stuff mixed in with a bit of discussion. But hey, let's get started. Yo, small edit here. I couldn't get Deadly Rain X on, but his stuff will still be in the description down below, because he was one of the people who I asked their opinions and stuff beforehand, and I just wanted to get more detailed opinions, I guess, from these interviews. But just check his stuff down below. It's in the description, so check it out. All right, Iron Fist, I'm going to ask you a few questions. If you just answer them in the most concise manner possible. So the first one I'm going to ask you is, how do you feel about RNG mechanics being a part of a character's toolkit like the hero?
Well, for RNG, I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing, simply because there are characters in other fighting games that have RNG, such as Faust. This whole thing is like throwing out random objects and such, and if you get a good item, good for you. If you get a bad item, then suck. But you can always pound it.
How about characters having multiple one-hit KO moves like the hero has? He has thwack and whack, a multitude of other moves that have near similar effects.
Okay, well, for thwack and whack, not only is there always like a chance that it will happen, but it's also there's a chance that if hit by it, you will die or not. Because I've been hit with thwack before, and like I've just walked away and survived. I was insta killed. So thwack or whack killing also seems to be sort of a RNG in itself. So it's not necessarily a bad thing. So
with that answer combined with the Oko moves, do you think RNG is actually a problem?
RNG is a problem? No, I don't think it's a problem.
All right, so are there any other cases in fighting games specifically, like you just stated before, that you like to bring up where there is a character like this, and maybe go into a little bit more detail about it?
Okay, not only is there Faust, but we also have Platinum the Trinity and BlazBlue, and we also have like that Panda character in Fantasy Strike. They're all known for being like random characters who throw out like a multitude of objects, and these objects can either cause lockdown, throw the opponent into a really, really bad situation and give you an advantage, or even put you into a disadvantage. For an example, there's an item that there's an item that actually heals you in Fantasy Strike. It heals you for like about 2 pips of health. If the opponent were to grab that, they'd be put into an advantage, you'd be put into a disadvantage. That's an example. Another example would be Faust in Guilty Gear, where he could throw out a poison bottle and he himself can get hit by that. So he is also constantly draining health. I was gonna say is as long as there's a balance between positive effects and negative effects for any RNG character within a fighting game, I don't necessarily see it as a bad thing.
So because of what you stated above, I'm assuming you would say no to this, but do you think the hero warrants banning? Because many people in the Smash community have been vocal about this. Whether they're a vocal minority or not, I don't know. but the people who've been vocal about it have been very vocal about it, and a lot of people seem to not like it. One example of somebody really being against the hero is Armada. Why he hasn't said that he wants to outright ban the hero because he accepts that the hero has some flaws. Do you agree with the sentiment of people who want him banned, or do you agree that or do you think the hate toward even if you don't think it's warranting the hero warrants banning, do you think the hate towards the hero is warranted?
I personally do not think the hate towards the hero is warranted, simply because people don't know what the hero is going to throw. Hell, not even the hero player knows he's going to throw out. So there's always that element of surprise, and since they don't know what's coming, since they always know like the character's like down B is always changing, or whether or not any of his smash attacks are going to cause a critical hit or not, they're going to just think that's either cheap or unfair. So they would think that's warranting banning. But the same thing applies to like Platinum the Trinity, Faust, or that Panda character on Fantasy Strike. The player or the opponent knows what that character's going to throw out. So it's always a mystery for either side. Whether or not the opponent and that player can play around happens, it's just like up to like what they can do. It's all a matter of like how good a player is, so they can play around whatever RNG is being thrown.
Do you think the call to ban this character is an overreaction, especially since I think many people are just looking at this on the surface? I had a discussion in my server. By the way, the server link's in the description. Plug. Do you think the call to ban this character is an overreaction, though? We talked about this on my server, and once I, kind of explained to people like this isn't an uncommon thing in fighting games, and on top of that, it's more about who's playing. They kind of warmed up to the idea that this character shouldn't be banned. So I'm assuming you're gonna say this is an overreaction, but do you think this is an overreaction?
Oh, most definitely. The hero, while he has really good moveset, and his down B can be a bit wacky, that is not nearly enough that round to banning. Because I've played against a hero, and I played the low tier fucking Kirby. It's all a matter of rushing down the hero and making sure he doesn't have the chance to throw any of his stuff out, because his moves do take a good chunk of windup, and so it is very punishable.
And what are the biggest weaknesses you see in the hero as a fighting game?
Well, weaknesses for the hero is obviously wind up for a good chunk of his moves. Unlike Faust, the Panda, and Platinum the Trinity, the fact that he has to sit down, stop, and look at a command menu to figure out what move he's going to throw out, that alone balances the character, because the character himself has to sit down and just left as a sitting duck. So so like an opponent can just run up and do whatever the hell he wants. Even if like he was gonna throw like a busted move like Magic Burst, okay, run up and grab him. I grabbed the hero doing Magic Burst on several occasions. Not only did he lose MP, I was left safe. So it's all a matter of knowing your spacing and making sure like when you can attack the character.
That's a sentiment that I really agree with. I believe that the character is just left open too much for any of this RNG stuff to be a problem. And then on top of that, I just believe that the character is really punishable, especially if they throw out something and they aren't really safe about it, you know what I mean? The hero is a character you have to be really willing to take risk with, because the character itself does not lend itself well to, safe gameplay. You have to take, even on his normals, you have to basically throw something out and hope it hits, because the lag on his moves, compound it with the wind up and start up on a lot of his specials, just make him, I guess, in a way, I feel like I would consider him a harder character to play in that respect because of his RNG. Would you agree with that sentiment?
Most definitely, because as I've said on the other questions, the opponent and the player doesn't know what they're going to throw out. So you have to play around what you get.
I think that's exactly the point of the character. I want to thank you for being on, Iron Fist. Thank you, man.
Oh, no problem. Also, by the way, if there's anything fucking a person wants to complain about with the hero, it's fucking neutral B. Kafriz, that shit kills too damn early. That's really it. That's the only thing I have. That's the only issue I have with that character. But there are so many other characters also that have moves that just kill surprisingly early that it's just sort of whatever at this point.
Exactly. But thank you for being on, Iron Fist. His link is down in the description, guys. Go click it. All right. So, I'm gonna ask you these questions, and that'll be it. So, Mike, how do you feel about the RNG mechanics being part of the character's toolkit, specifically the hero?
So for the hero specifically, it's fine. Like, it doesn't make or break. I mean, I guess it can make him or break him, but at the end of the day, the character still has flaws, and he's beatable. It's not like he has like some OD broken shit with it to the point where it's like, okay, I gotta ban him. Like, it's whatever. As for other characters, I mean, it's fine. Like, I mean, Faust and Guilty Gear has it, and he's fine. Lemon Fantasy Strike has it, he's fine. I mean, shit, there's already Smash characters with RNG mechanics. There's Peach, there's fucking Game & Watch, and I don't see people wanting to ban that. So, I don't know. So, I guess it's just fine. It's fine to me.
Alright, and how do you feel about the character having, like, multiple one-hit KO moves?
I mean, it's tied to his RNG mechanics, so it's like a 1 or 2, I should say, out of, I don't know how many moves he actually has in that list, but 2 out of, let's say, 2 out of 20th chance he can do that to you. So in that case, it's fair. Now, if he had access to it all the time, like if it was like a special move he just had, period, then maybe I could see an issue. But because it's tied to his RNG mechanic, it makes him even more fair. Imagine if they took away his RNG mechanic and then he just had those moves. That'd be even worse. So he's fine specifically because of the RNG mechanic.
And what are the biggest weaknesses you see in him as a fighting game player or someone, you know, involved in the FGC, the fighting game community?
So for a hero specifically, he's heavy, or he's heavier, so he can get comboed like OD hard. Some of his normals aren't, like, they're good, but like they're like, I don't know, it's weird. Like, they don't have as much priority as like other like normals from like what I've played. I'm like, oh, like the way I nair with him, I'm like, okay, this is like Ike, and it's like, oh, never mind. This nigga's not like Ike. He's whack. He's whack Ike. He's whack Ike. So, you know, he has flaws like in his like some of his normals and stuff, but overall, he's like a solid character. But I guess his flaws, like, his normals aren't as great as they could be. RNG, I mean, it's a great thing, but at the same time, you don't know what you're gonna get. So it's like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And I guess that's it as far as I know.
All right, man. Thank you for being on. You guys should check out Mike's Twitch. He's a regular streamer. You know, he regularly streams on Twitch, mostly fighting games. He's a fighters and a Street Fighter player. So, you know, you can check him out there. He also plays other games. And check out his Twitter. You know, he talks about fighting games and just anything happening in the FGC. Thank you for being on, Mike.
Thank you for having me, brother.
So, after hearing those, you know, nice interviews, what's my opinion on this? I think the Smash community, to a degree, is overreacting. This isn't unheard of, especially when we've, you know, discussed this in my server, which the link is down in the description. One of the biggest examples of a character people wanting to get nerfed is Joker, despite there only being really one amazing Joker on the planet, that being MKLeo, who was the only one who I think was winning majors and super majors, because he is the best player in the world. It's not because of the character. People wanted the character nerfed despite it being the player, not the character. And when the game came out, many people were upset with Inkling, say for instance, because they didn't know how to fight it, and because of this, people wanted the character nerfed into the ground. We now know how to fight Inkling, and while they're still good, we obviously know now that they weren't nerf worthy. While I understand the sentiment behind people who are only looking at the surface, there are many weaknesses to the hero. Like, his frame data is actual garbage. He has so much starting lag and ending lag on his moves, it's ridiculous. Many of his moves can just merely be avoided because of how big they are, how long the startup takes, and just basically the process of him executing those moves. And then on top of that, he's heavy. He becomes combo food. A character like Fox, especially basically anybody who can fight well against projectiles can definitely defeat the hero. He becomes combo food for Fox. It's actually insane how much Fox destroys this character, at least from my experience. I'd be doing fine in matches and then a Fox appears and then my entire life gets destroyed and I leave the lobby without rematching, all in an effort to save my precious GSP. But seriously, dude, I think the hero is broken, and I'd have to say no, I don't believe the hero is broken, but I do think there's some things they can tweak about the character, not necessarily just nerfing, but I think the character needs a lot of buffs, more specifically on his normals. His normals need to be buffed. There's no way around it. The only thing I really think needs to be nerfed is Magic Burst, because outside of that, like, I like his normals in concept, it's just that none of them are really amazingly good. His smash attacks are all laggy for a reason, and that's because he has the critical hits. So I'm not gonna say they should buff those, but his normals like his aerials and his tilts have a lot of lag and have a lot of startup. I just wish on average most of them that experience that issue would be buffed to not be that bad. I'm not saying that it needs to be amazing, just better. But again, I think attacks like Magic Burst should be, I guess, nerfed, because Magic Burst covers so much of the stage that if you're not on the complete opposite side of the stage, or if the hero's in the middle or slightly off of the middle, you're gonna get hit no matter what you do, unless you're playing a character that can fly basically, or float, or has so many jumps that they can survive, because the kill power in that move is something that kills at 35% and has such a wide reach that it's incredible, and it radiates an explosion after it's reached its maximum size. I don't know, I have a lot of feelings towards the hero. I really like the character, and while I don't think this character needs to be really nerfed in any meaningful way outside of Magic Burst, I don't think this character is broken, and I definitely do not think that this character needs to be banned, but you guys could have a different opinion. Tell me down in that comment section below how you feel about this. Do you agree with me? Do you think that the hero is really a force to be reckoned with? While I think the hero could do well in hands of a player that could take advantage of them, I don't think the hero is that much of a force to be reckoned with. On top of this, I just don't think the character is broken in any meaningful way. But maybe you disagree. Maybe you believe the hero is the most broken character to ever be existing in Smash. Maybe you think this character is even worse than Smash 4 Bayonetta, or Brawl Meta Knight, or Melee and Brawl Ices, or Jigs in Melee, or Fox in Melee, or Snake in any game he's in, Metal Gear. But please tell me how you feel about this in that comment section down below. I'm really curious, because maybe my perspective on this is wrong. I don't know. It always could be. But guys, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. Share this video out with your friends. Become a member of the channel, because it is highly appreciated. And here are the channel members: Bugsplat, Monocryptic, and John Minase. If you'd like to become a channel member, it's only $2 a month. And if you'd like to see your name said on these videos, it's only $5. Come on, you guys know you want to see your names on these videos. So hey, send your boy $5. It's only $5. It directly supports me, you know, and I get to go around YouTube AdSense. But this has been your man Shatic Stick. Remember, Hot Faraga turns to Cobra Saga. Make sure you chill out with my other videos, and make sure you join the Discord, follow your boy on Twitter, and buy some merch. We're out of here. Peace. Kiss, kiss.